So my name is Micaela Neves, Director of the Department of Student Registration. And we are here tonight because we want to answer questions that you have about kindergarten, the process, or any questions that you still have. We want to I also want to point out the videos that we'll share with you through this more. The videos are great. They have so much information. Also, the kindergarten booklet. If you have not received the kindergarten booklet, which would be within your review form, please be sure to go to our departmental website, and it has the link to the kindergarten booklet, and we'll also share it again tonight. I'm just going to repeat the information in Portuguese, so just, Rochelle is adding that information for us. Thank you, Rochelle. Olá, todo mundo. Boa noite, muito obrigada por estar conosco. A gente agradece por você estar com a gente. Estamos aqui para responder qualquer pergunta que vocês tenham sobre o kindergarten, sobre o jardim de infância. E a gente também passou vídeos através do SMORE, que explica sobre vários departamentos, explicam o processo de matrícula. E, por favor, assistam os vídeos, que tem muita informação, é muito importante. E eu acho que vocês vão achar isso bem, uma coisa beneficente. E também estamos aqui para responder a qualquer pergunta que vocês tenham. I would like to introduce yourself.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Violeta y yo también trabajo en el centro de matrículas y les agradecemos por tomar su tiempo y estar con nosotros esta noche. Vamos a tratar de responder cualquier pregunta que usted tenga y queremos hacerles saber que en el chat van a estar todos los enlaces para los videos que tenemos, información sobre la matrícula y un folleto para los padres para entender más las asignaciones de kindergarten. Así que chequeen el chat. Ahí va a haber bastante información también. Gracias.
So, just want to make sure that, so this is a very informal Q&A session. We really are here to answer your questions, and your questions are going to be beneficial to everyone that's in this Q&A. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand. I see that Carmen has raised her hand, so maybe, right, she has a question.
Sure. Carmen, do you have a question? ¿Usted tiene la pregunta?
No, a rato yo puse porque yo quería que, o sea, que hablen en español solamente.
Okay. Okay. She's also, she wanted to make sure there was somebody who spoke Spanish. And sí, yo hablo español, podemos conversar si tiene alguna pregunta. Okay.
Danny, do you have a question? You have your hand raised.
I do have a question. So I'm wondering if you can speak to, I know that there were two schools, I believe it's Brophy and Barbary, who did the second language program. Can you speak to whether or not that's more English as a second language, or whether or not it would be an immersion program, or could you speak to a little bit more information about that, please?
Sure. So Brophy and Barbary, so Barbary fully dual language. So the entire school only has the dual language program. There is no standard classroom at Barbary. Brophy, they have a strand of the dual language program there. Every single grade has 2 classrooms that has a dual language program. So Brophy has both strands, so dual language and the standard classroom.
Sí, la pregunta era cómo trabajan los programas en la escuela Barbieri, en la escuela Brophy, donde hay los programas de doble idioma. Sí, en la escuela Barbieri es totalmente bilingüe. Las otras escuelas tienen salones de todo inglés y salones de idioma para aprender el segundo idioma.
Micaela, sorry, if I could just add. Sorry, I'll jump on. Hi, everybody.
Go right ahead.
My name is Rochelle Santos, and I do the media and communications for the district, but I'm also a Barbary parent and have an incoming kindergartner next year as well. So I guess just to add to that question, wanted to make sure we address both sides of it, that when Micaela says dual language program, that means that like monolingual English only children can go and be immersed and learn Spanish. And also Spanish speaking monolingual families go and those children can learn English, they learn together. And so the dual language program at Brophy and Barbary is Spanish, and the dual language programs at Harmony Grove and Potter are for Portuguese, just an addition.
Sí, ella está recalcando que los programas en la escuela Barberi Brophy son español, pero aprenden los dos, todo el grupo de estudiantes aprende los dos idiomas al mismo tiempo. Y en la escuela Potter Road y Harmony Grove tenemos el programa portugués. Y al igual, los niños que solo hablan inglés aprenden el portugués, los que solo hablan portugués aprenden el inglés. Entonces, todos aprenden los dos idiomas al mismo tiempo.
Yo tengo una pregunta, yo como es mi niña primera y yo no sé, mi hija dónde está o va a ir o no sé cómo tengo que saber eso.
Okay, mom is asking that she's her first child and she doesn't know where the child's going to go. So I'm going to explain and then I'll come back. Lo que va a pasar, usted ya se matriculó, ya está la niña
Sí, yo
por teléfono. Ok, me imagino que le han dado una cita para que le den una evaluación de idioma. Va a venir usted a la oficina en marzo, ¿verdad?
sí, creo que me dio para marzo 7.
Ok,
Creo.
ese día nosotros nos vamos a sentar con usted y le vamos a explicar cómo llenar el formulario de elección para que usted nos diga las escuelas que quiere que su niño vaya.
Oh,
Okay, o sea, eso es básicamente. Basically, what I was telling her is that she already registered. She's done the interview over the phone. She submitted all the documents. She's concerned about the choice, when that's going to happen. So I told her that in her particular case, the child has to come to our office for language proficiency testing. And at that point, we will sit down with her and help her do the choice form. She can do it right then and there. She can submit it before April 8th, which is our deadline for choice forms.
Tracy, you had a question?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to the dual language program for kids that are on an IEP. We're an English speaking household, but I would love for my son to have the dual language experience. But he does get speech. So anything that you can speak to on that would be great.
Sure. So if your child is on an IEP, the child can also participate on dual language programs so long as the child is not going to a sub-separate program. So you do have that choice. If your child is on an inclusion program or a therapy only program, your child will be able to, you will be able to sign up and request a dual language program for your child. So you go to the school choice, and the choice is just like the standard classrooms. We're going to be asking you, we always ask, would you like to sign up for dual language program? If you say yes, then you're going to rank to us the 4 schools that you like the dual language program, the 2 schools that have Spanish, which is Barberi and Brophy, and the 2 schools that have Portuguese, which is Harmony Grove and Potter Road. And if any of the schools you don't want the dual language program, if you want to choose 4 or only 1 or only 2 or only 3, you can make all of those choices. And the program really is intended for everyone. It's not only intended for children that have been exposed to Spanish and English, or Spanish and to Portuguese and English. It really is for everyone. So there are 3 groups in the program. There are children that are monolingual. That's what Rochelle was mentioning. So that means that there's no other second language spoken at home. And the child can apply. You can apply to have your child go to the dual language program, and then the child will be learning Spanish or Portuguese, and they will be fully fluent by the time that they are done with graduating from schools. We also have the children in which they qualify as what we call bilingual, where they have some exposure to either Spanish or Portuguese and also English. For example, my children, and I don't live in Framingham, my children will be considered bilingual, where I'm native Brazilian, I speak Portuguese, so does my husband. So they've heard Portuguese all their life, but yet they default to English. That's the language that they like to speak. And you have the native speakers, where the child only speaks either Spanish or Portuguese. And the program, it really is, they do a great job to make sure that they have the 3 groups, and they have enough numbers for the 3 groups, so the children are going to be learning with each other and growing with each other. So it really is for everyone. And it's a program that has been in existence for so many years. Barberi has been in existence for 25 years, I think.
About 25 years.
Yeah. So, and it's a highly rated rated school, and the program is extremely successful. So we feel very strong that it's a great program, and we do always inform the parents about the program, and all of us really feel strongly that it's a wonderful, wonderful program.
Para las personas que hablan español, en resumen, lo que ella ha dicho es que cualquier niño puede asistir a las escuelas de doble para aprender los dos idiomas. Si el niño tiene servicio de educación especial, puede ir. Todos los niños pueden ir, a no ser que esté en una clase totalmente separada. Así que está abierto para todos. Así reciba servicios de educación especial o no. Y básicamente los grupos que entran son los niños que solo hablan un idioma. Por ejemplo, en inglés es el idioma nativo, el español, idioma nativo, o los que hablan un poquito de los dos. O sea que es un grupo de niños que al mismo tiempo aprenden los dos idiomas.
Tracy, did you have any follow-up questions?
I guess my only question would be, I guess it's two questions. Is there anything that we can do to make him more successful in the program? I took Spanish in high school and college, but I'm not, we don't speak it at home. And then if he is struggling and, like he's just not able to access everything, then what happens?
Yeah, the school, so Barbieri, 25 years of experience with this request, because the program really is for all children. The school will definitely help you with supporting your child to make sure that your child and you are able to continue the program, and also that your child is able to thrive. I actually want to call Rochelle on that, because Rochelle is a parent that in Framingham Public Schools, and her child is in the dual language program at Barbieri. So I'll give you like mom's experience for support, parent experience.
Yeah, so I think that, my son is in second grade now. So watching the progression from sort of learning through song and dance and certain activities that are targeted towards, the appropriate age groups really helps. And I don't know, it's just been amazing to watch how much he grasps through what they did. Obviously his entire education experience has been interrupted like everybody else through COVID, but even, missing like the last 3 months of kindergarten and being remote and home for several, months of first grade, he's still excelling in language. So, we just encourage, we read to him a lot in English and encourage what we do in our own home language, but we also listen to a lot of like Spanish music, and I put on like Netflix in Spanish. So we just sort of like encourage the continued exposure at home, even if, I don't fully understand homework assignment. And so far it hasn't been an issue for us. So they'll tell you, the teachers will tell you too, through your parent teacher conference. And, if you get into one of those programs, what you can be doing at home to support your child. And they really do just encourage reading in your own language. And when they can start reading, that they should be reading in both languages if they can, when they can. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Ok, en resumen, estaban preguntando sobre la escuela Barbieri, qué puede hacer un padre para ayudar al niño a aprender el segundo idioma, ya sea el inglés o español. Y la recomendación de Rochelle, que es una mamá que tiene niños en la escuela Barbieri, es lean siempre con ellos, sigan hablando el idioma de ellos, y las maestras están ahí para ayudarlas. En cualquier momento que usted vea algún problema o algún atraso, hable con la maestra y ellos siempre la van a guiar y le van a decir qué es lo que puede hacer para fomentar más el segundo idioma del niño en cualquiera de los programas de inmersión. ¿Ok?
You have a question?
Hola, buenas noches. Yo tengo una pregunta. Mi niña va a empezar kindergarten este año, pero a mí todavía no me ha llegado la cita para la evaluación del idioma.
Okay. Her question is that she hasn't received the appointment yet, so I'm just going to quickly tell her about the registration process. Usted ya la matriculó a la niña
Sí, ya
Ok,
está
usted
todo.
mandó los documentos. Usted habló con alguien de nosotros por teléfono.
Sí.
Ok, en ese momento no le dieron la cita a usted
No,
para que la traiga para la evaluación.
no, me
Usted
dijeron que le iban a mandar después o que me iban a llamar, porque ahora en la fecha que yo la inscribí todavía no estaban dando citas. Entonces me dijeron que me iban a mandar las citas, ya sea por correo o me iban a llamar.
¿Cuándo hizo su matrícula? ¿En diciembre? ¿En enero? ¿O cuándo lo hizo?
Sí, creo que no, en diciembre.
Ok, y es para
¿Noviembre o
kindergarten, para
diciembre?
septiembre.
Sí,
Para kindergarten, y no tiene cita para la evaluación.
no todavía.
Ok, ¿usted por casualidad sabe el número de nosotros, de las escuelas de Framingham, de la oficina de nosotros? Se lo puedo dar, y qué tal si usted me da una llamada mañana y yo
Ok.
hablo con usted, busco la aplicación y ver lo que está pasando. Es 508-424-3420 y pregunte por Violeta.
3420.
Perfecto, pregunte por Violeta y me dice anoche hablamos y ya averiguaremos qué pasa.
Ok, muchas gracias.
She said she did her appointment, but she hasn't received her evaluation appointment, so she doesn't know what's next. So I've asked her to call me tomorrow morning, and I can go through and see if she actually finished the registration. There might be that might be a possibility that she didn't submit all the documents. So she's gonna call me tomorrow, and we'll go through the whole thing and make sure she has her appointment.
Thank you, Vi. Danny, you had a question?
So, bless you. Bless you. Sorry, I have a couple questions. I don't know if you want me to ask it kind of all at once or one at a time.
You go, whatever you want to do. It's up to you.
So my first question is, I'm wondering if you can speak to what the procedure is going to be for the tour of the school, if they're going to do virtual tours because of COVID and what the restrictions, what that would look like. I'm also
just really quickly, sorry, Danny, I apologize.
no,
I
it's fine.
actually gave you the wrong answer because I forgot the Vi needs to translate. So wait.
La pregunta es qué va a pasar con las visitas a las escuelas, los que le llamamos los tours. Este año los tours van a ser virtuales. Entonces nosotros le vamos a mandar información para que usted entre así como esta noche. Le mandamos el enlace, abre la presentación y usted va a poder hablar con la directora de la escuela, que le va a explicar todo sobre esa escuela, pero van a ser en marzo y van a ser virtuales. Le estaremos mandando más información. ¿Ok?
So then the kindergarten tours are going to be virtual. What's going to happen is in the next few weeks, we're going to be sharing with families the dates and the times for the virtual tours. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have the in-person tours, but Rochelle has done an amazing job. On our website, there's a tour that shows all the schools, and you can see all the same exact things for all the schools: cafeteria, the entrance of the building, classroom, a kindergarten classroom, the gym. So it's all schools have the same exact thing. We know 100% that is not the same as going to the school. We are 100% agree with you on that, but unfortunately we're still not out of the woods yet. So we're not able to do the in-person school tours. Not yet, but no. But right now, at least we have this wonderful video that Rochelle has created, which is in our website, and you can see this information. And also that you'll be able to do the virtual Zoom meeting, just like we're doing right now. And you can ask the questions to the principals at that time. Then you have more questions. Go ahead. I'm sorry I had to cut you off.
No, that's fine. I figured it's probably easier to address them one at a time. The next question I had, so I was in Framingham Public Schools back when I was a kid, and back at that time, does the Framingham school system still do the SAGE program, or is that no longer offered?
They still do the SAGE program. It starts in second grade or first grade. I can find out the exact information on that. I know kindergarten, they don't have the SAGE program because the children are too young, and there's a whole process for the child to start the SAGE program. So yes, but they do have the SAGE program for sure.
And is that available in any school, regardless of what your choice is? That's district-wide, or is it only available in some places?
District-wide.
Okay, perfect.
Esa
I think
pregunta
that's all I have. Thank you. No. Thank you very much.
Sorry. Esa pregunta fue sobre si hay programas para niños que son un poco más adelantados, que aprenden de otra manera, y nosotros si hay manera que podemos ayudarlos para que avancen más rápido porque están ya a un nivel más alto. Si lo hay en todas las escuelas, no en kindergarten, a partir de primer grado ya empezamos a ver los niños que realmente podrían beneficiarse de un programa para niños que son un poquito más adelantados que el resto de los niños.
Sí, yo tengo una pregunta. ¿El día cuando tengo cita tenemos que llevar al niño o cómo es eso? ¿Y dónde? También no me dieron la dirección, nada.
Okay, her question is about, she has an appointment for language testing. Where does she go? Can she go with a child? And where, you know, what to do that day? Sí, usted ya tiene el día de la cita. Nosotros le vamos a estar, cuando ya se acerque la fecha de la cita, que será en marzo, le vamos a mandar información por texto o por correo electrónico, dónde tiene que ir, cuál puerta entrar, una foto del edificio donde estamos. Tiene que ir usted con la niña. Y va a demorar por lo menos 1 hora y media, 2 horas que le hagan una evaluación para ver qué idioma domina más la niña. Eso es todo lo que estamos tratando de determinar.
Está bien, gracias.
Ok, de nada.
We have someone that has a question that's the hand raised, but it only says see friend. So I'm not sure of your
Hi.
name. Hi.
Oh, I was
Hi.
gonna ask, my name is Rochelle. I was gonna ask the same question that the next woman just asked. It's about the language appointment that I have for my son. So I would like to know where to go and what time, because they didn't tell me anything about it.
Okay, so you finished your registration. Oh, that you want to answer? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ma, you're
The
on the
brain's
roll.
trying to do English and Spanish at the same time. Yeah, go ahead.
So the appointment is going to be at the building, which is the Flag Drive. When it gets closer to the time of the appointment, the language testers will send you the information of the address and the time, just reminding you of the appointment. And then you have to bring your child with you at that time. Please make sure that your child had breakfast, that your child is understand that they're going to be there for 2 hours, because the language assessment testing takes about 2 hours, because you're going to get there, you're going to speak with one of the testers, then your child's going to be tested in English or Spanish or Portuguese. So there's 2 separate tests. Then once the testing is done, you're going to speak with someone, what we call a speaker, to go over the test results. And then once you're done speaking with someone about the test results, then you have the choice, if you like, you don't have to meet with one of us, one of the registrars, to fill out your school choice form. If you like, you do not need to fill out your school choice form at that date and that time. But if you want, there's already someone there that can help you and guide you through the process.
Okay, thank you so much. I have another question. What is that test will be exactly? Because my son's, I know I'm Haitian and I speak Creole, but my son doesn't speak Creole. He only speaks English. So why did he have to do that test?
That's a great question. And that test is mandated by the state and the federal government, actually, because the test is just a language assessment. Really is your child going to be answering some questions from a teacher, from a tester that has been doing this for a long time. And that person is going to be evaluating how she or he did answering the questions, and if your child understood what it was being asked, and if they were able to answer properly. It really is checking just to evaluate the English. And why do they do that? The state does that because they want to be sure that your child is getting assigned to the best program for your child. So your child is not sitting in a standard classroom, not having the support that he or she need, and then your child's going to fall behind, and it's going to be not a good thing for your child, because your child's not going to understand. If the kid needed, a specific program for English language learners, but it really is just to double check the English of your child. And also, if your child spoke Portuguese or Spanish, we also check how strong is the Portuguese, how strong is the Spanish. It really is to make sure that your child is successful.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much.
Para alguna pregunta esa pregunta fue sobre qué va a pasar en el momento de la evaluación de idioma. Básicamente estamos tratando de determinar qué idioma domina más su niño, el inglés o el español, así que le hacemos una prueba de inglés, una prueba en español o algún otro idioma. Después usted se sienta con alguien, le enseñamos los resultados de la evaluación y después lo ayudamos a llenar su formulario si lo desea. Usted puede hacerlo en ese momento o puede esperar, pero alguien le va a explicar a usted todos los resultados de la evaluación, qué le preguntaron, cómo contestó su niño y todo. Siempre estaremos ahí ayudándola para responder cualquier pregunta que tenga el día de la evaluación.
Angela just added something that, thank you, Angela. And she said, just to confirm, it's a state requirement, but at the end, it's the parent's choice whether or not which class and program they want their child to be in. 100%. Thank you, Angela, for adding that information. Yes, so the state asks us to do the test, but you have the choice to decide if you want your child to go to the specific program that is recommended. At no point in time, we're going to say, or anyone's going to say, you have to place your child in this program, because it's always the parent's choice.
Lo que se dijo es que siempre va a ser la decisión del padre, nadie le va a forzar a usted a que ponga a la niña en un programa, las opciones siempre las enseñamos y usted, el padre, es el que decide qué programa es que va a ir el niño. Nosotros no, solo recomendamos, usted hace la decisión final.
Someone that has the name C. Friend had a question.
Hi. So I'm a first-time kindergarten parent here. So I just had a question in regards to start times, because I noticed that most of the schools are either like a 9:05 or 9:15, except for McCarthy. I just wasn't sure why.
Due to busing, that's why. So in order for them to be able to accommodate and be able to bus all the children, that one school had a different start time, and McCarthy is one. And also, it's very beneficial for many families because they need their child to start school as soon as possible. So then some families decide to choose McCarthy because of the start time. Sorry, Vi, but just really quickly, somebody was asking where are the start times. That's located on the kindergarten booklet. The link is here on the chat. And if you don't have, if you're not able to see it, it's also on our website, on the Department of Student Registration website. The booklets are in there too. Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
La pregunta fue las horas en que empiezan las clases. La mayoría de las escuelas empieza de las 9:05 hasta las 3. Hay solo una escuela que empieza una hora antes, es la escuela McCarthy, y algunos padres necesitan ir a trabajar temprano, entonces se cogen esa escuela para poder dejar a los niños temprano y también los recogen temprano. Pero la mayoría es de 9 a 3 más o menos, 9:05 a 3:05. Y la información está en nuestro librito, que lo puede encontrar en nuestra página web o en los enlaces que le estamos mandando, y dice horas escolares y indicamos todas las escuelas, desde el high school hasta las escuelas elementales.
And then, I'm sorry, just a quick follow-up to that too. Are there any projected, or, will the start times change at any point, or are they kind of set in stone for now?
They're set in stone for now. Yeah, right now there's no projections to change the start time.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Just to add, a change like that would be something that required at least a year, maybe more notice. So that wouldn't be just like a quick change that's sprung on families. That's like takes time in planning. And also just to add that the school start times, as well as the breakfast window, early release dismissals, and half-day dismissals, which they're not the same. Early release is an early release, and a half day is actually an hour less. So those times are also listed on page 2 of the annual district calendar that's published. There's a draft version right now of next year's calendar, but it actually gets voted on by the school committee. They'll have a first reading of next year's calendar this Wednesday night. Then there's a 2-week period where any edits are made, and then they vote. The school committee will vote on the calendar on Wednesday the 16th, and at which time, the calendar will basically be final, and we'll create it in English and Spanish and Portuguese, and then circulate it and post it to the website for people to start saving the dates, like for the first day of school, for example. So sorry, Vaya Michele, that's a little more for you to add.
También estamos hablando de que el distrito en este momento está revisando el calendario de escuela para ver cuáles son los días, el primer día de escuela, y todo el calendario de todo el año, pero no es algo que pasa muy rápido, tiene que pasar por el departamento de comité escolar. Ellos tienen que decidir y votar en las horas y todo lo que tenga que ver con el calendario. Normalmente por ahí de marzo, si no pasa nada y no hay ningún cambio, es cuando el calendario oficial sale con la fecha de que empieza la escuela en septiembre y tiene toda la información hasta el fin de año del próximo año, el 23.
Just really quickly before I call on Christina, someone had a question. Can you speak to what happens if you move outside of Framingham during the school year? Unfortunately, because we're a public school system, the number one criteria is making sure that that you are a Framingham resident. So if you're no longer Framingham resident, we are not able to keep your child in our school. So we apologize, but it really is a criteria that we cannot get around. In certain cases, you can ask the superintendent if he allows for your child to continue the education until the end of the school year, but it's solely up to him. And many times the answer is no, just because of the sheer number of students that we have in our building.
Ya, la pregunta fue, ¿qué pasa si se muda usted? ¿Qué pasa con el niño? Si usted se muda fuera de Framingham, el niño no podrá continuar en las escuelas de Framingham. Por eso es uno de los requisitos para asistir a las escuelas de nosotros, es que tiene que vivir en Framingham. Tan es así que le pedimos documentación para probar que usted vive en Framingham. Lamentablemente así es, porque no hay mucho espacio en las escuelas de Framingham. O sea que tiene que ser residente del pueblo para poder asistir a las escuelas.
Christina, you had a question? Christina Anderson?
I did, yes, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having a session like this. I also have a first-time kindergartner, and my son will be going to the Blocks preschool. So this is super, super helpful. So thank you. My question is more around the lotteries with the schools. So during my appointment, they told me that our home district would be the Dunning School. So in our minds, that would be our first choice because of location, first of all, too. So I was basically kind of trying to understand, like, what do you recommend to parents for putting their choices of where we would want our children to go to school?
So we always recommend that they choose their home district school, but Dunning in the last 3 years have not had enough seats for home district families.
Okay.
So that it is an unfortunate fact. And the school is so small, it has not physically grown to accommodate the growth in the neighborhood. So you have families that were living in the neighborhood where they, at that certain point, they didn't have any more school age children that moved out, and therefore you have families with school age children moving in. So, but the school hasn't grown, right? And it's a school that's very loved by the residents of the Dunning neighborhood. And most people always want the Dunning school. So it leaves very few seats left because the number of siblings at the building, it's high. And then the few seats that are left is never enough for the families in the neighborhood. But we always want you to try, because if that's the school that's in your heart, that's the one you want, then try it. Because even though there won't be enough seats probably, right? Assuming if the trend continues, but there will be some seats, and maybe your child is going to be the child that will get the seat. And then we always, we do the assignments always based upon number of seats available. We always do the assignments of siblings first, because we are not going to separate families. Next assignment is the home district families that want their home district school. And right away, you're going to be on the top of the students that we're looking at to do the assignment, because you have the home district preference. If you don't have that seat, then you're gonna be on the top of the waiting list for Dunning. And then the next is the first choice families, the families that chose a school that's not their home district school, or if they don't have a sibling preference. So it's heartbreaking. I really wish we could always give all families their first choice. And Vi and I have had conversations with families for so many years where they want a specific school and that we're not able to give them that school because there's just not enough seats. But that's where we stand.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for explaining that. I really appreciate that. So we should just kind of do our homework for our second and third choices, right? Because you have to put 3 choices on the form.
You actually have to choose all 9 schools.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, because the
Okay.
first question is, would you like to have your child participate on the dual language program? If you say no, right away Barbieri is out. Because Barbieri Elementary School is only dual language. There's no other program such as stay in a classroom in Barbieri. So then you're now going to have to choose the next 8 schools.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I just want to say though, I know some of you already are like, oh my gosh. We had so many parents where they land at a school that they were not happy at all, that we had several conversations with them. Vi and I, most of the times, have many conversations with parents. We're usually the ones that take these calls. And when we call the family and say, hey, you now have a seat at the school that you were looking for, so many times we have parents that say, we are happy. My child's happy. I don't want to move. So I know that doesn't help, but I want you to be mindful that if you didn't get the school that you were looking for, that might be a blessing in disguise, because so many people that we call with a seat, they don't want to move because they are so happy at the school that they thought that was not the school that they were going to be happy at. So that's what I have to share.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Voy a tratar de resumir esto en un poquito de tiempo. Básicamente la pregunta era cómo hago para conseguir mi escuela de distrito. Siempre recomendamos a los padres que escojan su escuela de distrito como su número 1. Tienes la mejor chance para entrar a la escuela que usted quiere. Ahora, si quiere los programas de inmersión, puede escoger esos primeros, pero si usted quiere quedarse en su distrito, póngalo siempre con la escuela número 1. Y depende de la escuela, nosotros trataremos de acomodarlo eso, sabiendo que usted está buscando quedarse en el distrito que le corresponde. Cuando usted viene a hablar con nosotros podemos explicarle cuando haga el formulario de elección cómo es que ayuda a escoger el distrito de uno mismo como la escuela número 1 después que escoge los programas de inmersión. O sea que siempre estamos ahí para ayudarlo a escoger y a explicarle qué es lo que tiene que escoger.
Before I call the next person, I just want to say really quickly, Amy was asking about before and after school programs. All of our schools have before and after school programs, and we also have some before and after school care providers too in Framingham that are partners with us. I'm just trying to get the exact page number. Rochelle put the links on right there on the chat for the kindergarten booklet. If you go to page number, what's the page number? Page number 21, you're going to see the list of the before and after school programs. And you're going to see the community resource development is in charge of the before and after school care programs physically in our buildings. And then there's the Metro YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, the SMOC, which is offsite, and Suburban, which is offsite. So that information is on page 21 of your kindergarten booklet. And you can see the link to the booklet right here on the chat.
Hi, and I have 2 more questions. I'm sorry.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, it's about the bus. What's gonna happen? Am I still gonna have the bus for him for pick up and drop up?
So if your child lives more than 2 miles from their assigned school, let's say that your child got assigned to McCarthy and you live 2.1 miles from McCarthy, your child will automatically get a bus assigned to him or her. If you live less than 2 miles, if you live within 1.1 miles to 1.9 miles, you're gonna submit a request for school because you live close to the school, but the school will try to provide you transportation. If you live under 1 mile, you can still request, but it's not guaranteed that you get it. Rochelle, go ahead.
Yeah, they actually, this year was the first year every family who wanted a bus actually did have to request it. So even if it's 2 miles, that way they know who wants a bus so that they can plan routes, but legally they have to provide it, right? So you still have to do the request. It's not automatic anymore.
So how do I do
Sorry,
the
Michaeli.
how do I do the request for the bus?
Yeah, so I can address that. I was just about to type it in the chat. So you will submit your choice forms by April 8th, and then you will receive your school assignments by May 14th. When you get the notification by email of your school assignment, you'll also get a welcome packet with a letter from your new principal, the superintendent. There'll be information about Explorers. There will be, which is our after school program. There will be information about transportation, as well as the next year's school calendar. I believe that Explorers will have like a Google form where you can express interest to say, yes, I will want this at this school. And then they'll kind of hold that information until a formal registration process opens.
Okay.
And then for transportation, there'll be instructions there as well. So like how you can make a formal request for transportation. Usually the transportation sign-up request for next year opens at the beginning of May, and it stays open until around June 1st. That's kind of the deadline. So you'll have a couple weeks where you can submit your transportation request.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And my second question is about, I have two choice of school, Burberry and Charlotte. I don't know the name.
Charlotte Channing.
Thank you. So what's gonna happen is like, if I want one of them, so what's gonna happen? How can I do that?
What do you mean? I'm sorry. You're gonna have to give us more school choices than just 2 schools. So everyone has to choose 9 schools. So the first question is, would you like to apply for dual language program? And if you say no, then right away Barbieri is out, because Barbieri is only dual language. Then you're gonna have to rate all the other 8 schools. So then we're gonna go through your school choice based upon where you put it, number 1, number 2, number 3, and all the way until we have your child assigned to a school.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Básicamente la pregunta es cómo escogen la escuela. Todos van a tener que enumerar las escuelas del 1 al 9, todas las escuelas en orden de preferencia. Usted puede decir si quiero el programa de inmersión en inglés o en portugués o no, pero de todas maneras va a tener que enumerar en orden de preferencia cuál es su escuela número 1, 2, 3, y nosotros vamos a usar ese documento para asignarlo a una escuela basado en lo que usted eligió.
Rebecca, if you're patient waiting, go ahead. What's your question?
Sorry. Oops, sorry.
No, you're good. I can see it.
Hi. I guess my question is, looking over the booklet, I noticed that there was an asterisk for high needs, but I didn't see what the definition was. So I was just wondering if you could elaborate on what that means when looking at the statistics.
Sure. So high needs, I can give you that information. So high needs, this is the DESE description. So it says the new high needs group is an unduplicate count of all students in a school or district belonging to at least one of the following individual subgroups: students with disabilities, English language learners, and former ELL students, or low-income students eligible for free and reduced price school lunch. For a school to be considered to be making progress toward narrowing proficiency gaps, the cumulative PPI for both the all students group and high needs group students must be 75 or higher. So it really is any of the students that are part of students with disabilities, English language learners, and former ELL students or low-income students. So
Okay.
that's what they consider high needs.
Okay, and then my second question is we are home district for Hemingway, and I know Hemingway is slated to be at some point remodeled, or how, I guess, what is the time frame? Because I just read that like the firm was just hired to like do the studies. So it's like, is it something that we have to worry about later, like closer to like, you know, when my son's like further along in Hemingway, or is it something that they see closer to like middle, I would say like within 4 years or so?
Rochelle, do you want to take on that? Because Rochelle works on the communications for those projects.
I was actually just going to look up the date of the feasibility studies for Fuller that would give us like an idea of like the start of a project like this and to the end, right? Because the Fuller Middle School, all right, let me like not go too deep into this, but so for a district to build a new school or move or relocate or build something new, right? Which is basically what they're looking to do. There's a lot of steps involved. The first is sort of this feasibility study, like what do we need to do and why do we need to do it? And it's a very extensive report. And there's a state process that we would be submitting to where we try to get a large portion of this type of project funded by the state through an agency called the MSBA, the Massachusetts School Building Authority. In order to get in and approved through the MSBA, you have to go through this feasibility study, and there needs to be a full timeline built out. I can say with certainty that it is years, like several years, start to finish. So I don't know if this is your first child or if you have more. I couldn't, there's no way to tell you when this type of change would happen, but it would be at least at the end of your this first child's Hemingway experience towards the end, maybe even later. So I'm gonna look on the website and see what the time frame was from the start of the Fuller feasibility study to now, just to give you an idea of that range of time. So that is not an answer, but it's just a, you know, at the end, the city would have to approve that, right? Like in order to do the Fuller building project, we had to have a special election vote that more than 51% of the city voted to move this thing forward. So that also has to happen in order for us to get that state money. So
yeah, I understand. I was just kind of curious if like there was even like a guesstimate time frame. That was all I was looking for. So, but thank you.
I will look that up.
Wow.
All right. Danny, you have a question?
I do, sorry. So I know that you spoke to this a couple of times, but I'm just curious for like finite information. You spoke to the small class sizes of Dunning, and I'm curious, is there any resources to show like what the average class size would be in each school? Is there a way to look at just in terms of, you know, when we're trying to choose if we want or a smaller class size or something like that, is there a way to look at what the class sizes are on average for each school?
So we have schools, we have a school that have 5 kindergarten classrooms, and there's a school that has 3 kindergarten classrooms. And that really varies, and it can be changed up to like the last minute, right? Of how many kindergarten classrooms will be at that specific building. But all of the kindergarten classrooms, the max number of students in each classroom is 22 students. And there's a teacher and there's a teacher's aide. So you know that that's like, it's not gonna go over 22 students in the classroom. And really, we don't have final numbers when we are like right now, because there's still people registering, and there's a lot of people that take a while to register, where they only contact us like the week before or the day before the deadline is due, which is April 8th. So the numbers are forever changing, which is very frustrating, because we want to have some kind of control, but we're not able to, because we just don't know who we're gonna get. And also because we're open during the whole year and students need to be registered, we have a lot of students that we register during the summertime because of families moved to Framingham, or they did not realize that the kindergarten registration process was taking place, and they are now contacting us. So the number is forever changing. Really, the best thing to do is work with your registrar, the person that helped you. Call us. If you don't remember, we find out who the registrar was. That person's going to go over with you school choices and answer more like finite questions that you may have in regards to a specific school or program, because it changes so much.
But you said the kindergarten classes are pretty much capped at 22 anyways across the board, regardless of what school.
Absolutely, yes. It will not go over 22. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everyone. Anyone else has any other questions? Alguém tem alguma pergunta em português? Tem alguém que fala português no chat?
O en español, ¿alguna otra pregunta?
I just have one question about the after school programs. On the website, it shows a tuition cost. Is that per month?
You mean the Explorer's website?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, thank you.
Much better than daycare costs.
Yes, that's true.
Tengo una pregunta, no sé cómo los buses, cómo no sé, ¿tienen acceso a todos los niños o eso tiene que aplicar o tiene que pagar? ¿Cómo es eso? Porque yo nunca, o sea, mi niña es primera vez, será que no sé o no sé cómo trabaja en eso. Y también para ir a una escuela uno tiene que decidir o el distrito ya manda a esa escuela tiene que ir o eso es todo. ¿Cómo es? ¿Me podría explicar un poco, por favor?
Sí, por supuesto. Una vez que nosotros sepamos qué escuela ha sido asignada a su niño o su niña, usted va a tener que aplicar para pedir el transporte. Ahora todo va a depender si vive cerca de la escuela, lejos de la escuela, pero todos los padres van a tener que aplicar para poder tomar el bus. Ahora, usted ya matriculó a su niño, ya hizo contacto con la oficina de matrículas con nosotros. Si ya lo hizo, entonces ya usted tiene una cita para traer a su niño o a su niña a la escuela a darle la evaluación. ¿Ya lo ha hecho o todavía?
Sí, ya lo hice.
Ok, entonces usted tiene una cita, me imagino, en marzo, más o menos, ¿verdad? Para traer a la niña o niño.
Sí.
Ok, ese día es que nosotros le vamos a ayudar a llenar ese formulario para elegir escuelas. Nosotros vamos a conversar con usted, nos vamos a sentar después de la evaluación y le explicamos todos los programas, le ayudamos a decidir cómo puede escoger. Usted nos dice esto es lo que quiero y le ayudamos a escoger la escuela que usted quiera. Y, o sea que eso lo podemos hacer ese día de la evaluación.
Oh, está bien entonces. Después que ya está evaluada mi hija y ahí tengo que aplicar para bus.
Una vez que sepamos qué escuela, exactamente, que va a ser más o menos en mayo, entre mediados de mayo y fines de mayo es cuando usted va a tener más información de nosotros, donde le va a decir cómo aplicar para el bus.
Está bien entonces, muchas gracias.
De nada.
Saw a few other questions in the chat. One question I just responded was, are students separated by performance level at all or not at this stage? So what the schools do, once we share with them the class assignment, I'm sorry, not the class assignment, the list of the kindergarten students going to their school, the school principal along with a specific staff member that helps them, they create class lists. And in class lists, they take in consideration such as preschool experience, if there's a specific program that the child needs, and also gender. So they don't have all the boys in one classroom, all the girls in another classroom, because they want to try to make it as even as possible. So they do take that information in consideration, but not performance level, just because there's no assessment for kindergartners. Really is the only assessment that we really do is the language assessment. It is only to know what language learner program the child will need. All right, everyone, do we have any more questions? We got 2 minutes. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. I truly appreciate you taking the time to be with us tonight. And if you think of any other questions that you forgot to ask, just call us. Our number is 508-424-3420. You know how to find us. We are there to help you. Thank you again for your time and attention for being with us tonight.
Muchas gracias a todos. Si tiene alguna pregunta que no había pensado, por favor llámenos. Estamos ahí todos los días para ayudarle. 508-424-3420.
Obrigada a todos. Se tiver alguma pergunta, por favor, ligue para a gente lá no centro de matrículas e nosso telefone é 508-424-3420. Muito obrigado por estar conosco hoje à noite. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Just to close the loop, the pre-feasibility study for Fuller was 2013.
Wow.
So that's just for reference. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Bye. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.